Mike, welcome to the programme.
Hi there, good afternoon. Can I say, I think the comments of Al Khan and Mark Rutte are totally irresponsible and dangerous and wrong, and that's an understatement, really. I mean, they both should be supporting Donald Trump in his efforts to end the war instead of constantly denigrating him and ramping up this sort of war talk. This war should never have happened. I mean, if we just look back to sort of in February 2022, Putin warned, weeks before the war started, he said, if Ukraine declared neutrality and agreed not to join NATO, there would be no war. And that was because Joe Biden, who was the then president, had been antagonizing Russia and trying to get Ukraine to join NATO. And that's where it all started. But I think we're also forgetting, let's look at a few things. You know, in 2014, the Donbass and the Crimea both had referendums where they were overwhelmingly in favor of becoming separate from Ukraine to align with Russia. They're Russian-speaking, they always see themselves as Russia, and since then the Donbass region has been practically in a civil war because they want to be separate from Russia. I mean, I've got a friend who lives who's got family lives in Donetsk in the Donbass, and they say they detest Zelensky. They think he's a corrupt little dictator and they want nothing to do with him.
I mean, there's quite a lot to unpack there, Mike, so let's just take some of the points there. So you said that you thought, I mean, are you suggesting that the Russian invasion, the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, was somehow justified because of the potential of NATO expansion?
I think it was inevitable because of Russia. All Russia wants to be is left alone, and they wanted the Ukraine to be a buffer between them and the NATO countries.
Right, but shouldn't Ukraine as a sovereign country have the right to decide whether or not it wants to join NATO? Shouldn't that be a decision for Ukraine, not there as a sort of country, not in its own right, but just as a buffer?
I think that is one way of looking at it, but you've also got to look at what is the best for world peace. Ukraine could have been in a fantastic position as a neutral country, just like Switzerland used to be in the Second World War. You get the best of both worlds. Everybody's your friend, and you get everything. The thing is, okay, so you say, people have the right to self-determination. What about the Crimea and Donbass, who both want to align with Russia because they feel part of Russia, but they are both being subjugated now by the Ukrainians to stop them doing it? We can end the war now.
There are probably people in the Donbass as well who don't want to be aligned with Russia. Isn't that the thing?
Yeah, but there we go. That's democracy for you, isn't it? The referendum they had in 2014, there was overwhelming sort of majority wanting to align with Russia. Same in Crimea, and that's when the Ukraine authorities sent troops in to quell them. And if we allow them to have self-determination, this war could end tomorrow. But all this talk now by Mark Rutte, particularly, of sort of wars on your doorstep, prepare for war. This is just sort of bordering on insanity. You know, as the lady before said, do we never learn? Do we never learn? War solves nothing. The war can end now. So please urge, get alongside Donald Trump, stop denigrating him, and let's end this war now.
OK. Mike, thank you so